Hello, my name is Donald, and I'm going to talk to you briefly about our new paper in Brain Communications on health, head motion, and the risk of incomplete data. Scientists have used brain imaging for decades to understand neuropsychiatric and neurodegenerative conditions. Here I am holding a copy of my own brain taken with magnetic resonance imaging, or MRI. Structural and functional MRI can be used to characterize disease states and correlate brain with behavior. Brain imaging is a very complex, time-consuming undertaking, and there are lots of scientists who focus on how we can have better quality brain scans. There are lots of things that can influence the quality of a brain scan. Here I am, lying in a brain scanner. As you can perhaps guess, it is very important that participants lie as still as possible. This helps researchers get the best quality images. The more a participant moves, the worse quality the image. Researchers have and often use statistical correction methods to adjust for motion, but this is not 100% perfect, and sometimes an image cannot be used. This could be for a variety of reasons, but it does include too much motion, e.g. of the head. Brain imaging can provide a huge number of measures of brain health, for example, the volume of structures like the hippocampus, which is important for memory. In many cases, it is random who moves their head more or less, or whose data ends up less than perfect. But it is also possibly non-random to some extent. There may be some groups who have significantly more head motion on average, or are at increased risk of not having accurate measures of brain health, i.e. complete data. This selection bias is well known in epidemiology. In this context, selection bias means that people who participate in research studies may differ from the general population in non-random ways. This can have implications for research, specifically in how you generalize findings to the population at large. UK Biobank is a relatively large, prospective cohort of around 500,000 participants from the general population. Participants were assessed at baseline between 2006 and 2010 in one of 22 assessment centres across the UK. Since then, participants have completed several additional assessments, including attending MRI. The first UK Biobank participant was scanned in 2014. The UK Biobank imaging data are highly studied, and with good reason, being very high quality data and a relatively very large number of participants, and with a huge number of brain health variables available to researchers. When we conducted our study, there were data on 53,000 participants, where around 5,300 had a second scan about 2.5 years later. An MRI scan has several sequences, which measure different aspects of brain health. In 2022, we published a study in Brain Communications that there was a non-random bias towards people with better psychological and physical health being more likely to attend the imaging. The magnitude of this was small but prevalent. On basically everything measured, people who attended imaging were healthier. This is important because it has ramifications for how we can generalize associations between risk factors and outcomes to a more general population. We were interested in 3 key questions. Were less healthy people also more likely to move their head more? Is there correlation between how much someone moves their head at one scan and again at another scan 2.5 years later? And are less healthy people less likely to have complete data for researchers to analyze? The answer to all 3 questions was yes. We found that based on a range of socio-demographic, psychological and physical health metrics, those with worse health and lifestyle had significantly increased motion, particularly on what's called a functional MRI task. This was less pronounced on other brain MRI sequences. We found generally strong, consistent correlations between measures of motion across MRI sequences and across scan visits, although not in all cases. Finally, we found that people with poorer health were significantly less likely to have complete MRI data. In summary, we have previously shown that poorer health is a risk factor for non-participation in UK Biobank imaging, and here we extend that to demonstrate biases even within the participant sample who did attend imaging. Healthier participants move less on average, suggesting a bias towards better health in people whose data is analysed by researchers, and which may influence what we think we know about the brain. This project was a team effort. We are grateful to UK Biobank staff and participants without whom this study would not be possible. If you have any comments or questions, please do get in touch with me. I hope you found the paper useful. Thank you for listening.